like a boss.
Can we please talk about fucking Bill O'Reilly going on The View? I gotta tell you something right now. I don't like that guy's politics. I don't like his face. He has that racist face. You know, when he gets mad, his face gets pointy. He just looks evil. He's just not a pleasant human being whatsoever. But I got to tell you, he fucking destroyed on The View. You know? And somewhere in there was a victory for men because he took on 4 fucking women. They were all yelling. And he got 2 of them to walk off their own fucking show. How do you do that? As a comedian, I was embarrassed that 2 stand-up comics just quit, which is why I'm nominating Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg as douchebags of the week. What did you think was going to... Do you think he was going to go... No, wait, don't leave. That's exactly what the fuck he wanted you to do. I was actually hoping at that point that the other 2 women were going to leave, and then he could just start hosting the O'Reilly Factor on The View. That would have been... He just totally 100% dominated, at the very least, that segment, because I don't watch that fucking show. But he just came on. First of all, he sits down. He's got on that shiny fucking Joe Pesci suit. It's difficult to say. Joe Pesci suit. And he's got his fucking legs spread like with his ball bag hanging, his shiny ball bag. He looked like, if you ever see like when Kennedy debated Nixon, how if you listen to it on the radio, how everybody said Nixon won, but if you watched it on TV, Nixon was all tanned up. He had his legs crossed. He looked like a winner. And Nixon sat there with his fucking legs splayed and crossed like underneath the chair. He looked like a fucking moron. That's what Bill O'Reilly looked like, and he still dominated.
The radio audience thought he had won, but the largest television audience in history had seen the vice president haggard and drawn, and had been given its first sustained look at the Kennedy style.
I love when he turned to Joy and was just, whatever, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was just like, be quiet and learn.
This is America. Hold it. Listen to me, because you'll learn. All right?
And she had nothing. A fucking stand-up comic. She had nothing. The whole segment was fucking hilarious. And when he goes, another gem of a moment was when he goes, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but 70% of Americans don't want a mosque at ground zero. And Joy goes, she goes, well, I'd like to see that poll or something like, and as she's saying that, the crowd is applauding what Bill O'Reilly just said.
70% of Americans don't want that mosque down there, so don't give me the weed here. You want to bet on that? You want to bet? I'll show you that poll in a minute.
Right? 70% of Americans don't want it down there. But why is that? But why aren't we saying
inappropriate?
So you really don't need to see the poll at that point. And getting beyond that, what he really should have said was 70% of Americans don't realize that they're not building a mosque at ground zero still, that they're actually making a rec room with a ping pong table and an area to pray, kind of like they have an area to pray at every fucking airport, you know, 3-4 blocks up the street at a goddamn coat factory is where it's actually being built. But the fact that he said that they're still building a mosque and that he got an applause break, Joy is so wrapped up into her own fucking opinion that she doesn't even hear her own studio audience back up the guy that she's trying to shit on. And the fact that this fucking guy is still putting out inaccurate information that people are still backing. I mean, it just was fucking awesome on all of those levels. And I like how Barbara Walters was old school cool. And she didn't walk off. She gave those 2 douchebags of the week shit for walking off their own show. And then she got him with a nice little classy zinger. He said, Bill O'Reilly's on here this week. When we come back, we're going to talk or he's on the show today. When we come back, he's going to talk about his new book called Pinheads and Patriots. And then she looked at Bill and she goes, at this point, I'm not sure which you are, or something like that. It was a great little zinger.
You have written a book, and we're going to come back and talk about it, called Pinheads and Patriots. And at this point, it's very hard to see which you are. We'll be right back with more Bill O'Reilly.
But she wasn't like judging the guy. I don't know. The whole thing was funny. And just how Bill O'Reilly is viewed as this intolerant person, and then he comes on the show of, I guess, mostly liberals, and then they show absolutely no tolerance for him and then throw a fucking temper tantrum and walk off their own goddamn show. I mean, you can't tell me everybody over at Fox News wasn't literally jerking off to that moment. Bill O'Reilly almost became a fucking rock star in that moment. That was like a stand-up comic moment that he did to two comedians, which blew my mind. You know, and I know I'm always trashing the broads on this show, but that really was a chick way of handling losing an argument. Like, I'm just going to get up and storm out. You're so used to people paying for your drinks and holding the goddamn door for you. You actually thought that as an adult that you were just going to walk off the show and this was going to be this big moment and he was going to be like, oh, wait a minute, let me stop. I loved it. He was like, go ahead and leave. I don't give a fuck. I'll continue. I'll take over your fucking show. So anyways, there you go. Douchebags of the week, Joe Behar and Whoopi Goldberg for walking off your own fucking show when a shiny suit fucking, I can't say he's a moron because he does know, I mean, look, he's very read up on that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm too stupid. This is why this is right here, why I would never engage. As much as I disagree with his opinions, I don't fucking pay attention to politics at all. I don't. I find it frustrating. I find it to be just a rigged fucking game. I don't give a fuck. You know? And I would never try to, as much as I disagree with Bill O'Reilly, I would never go on his show and try to fucking one-up the guy and think I'm going to beat the guy in an argument about politics. It's like he's paying attention to these politicians the way I give a fuck about football. I'm not gonna win that argument. I mean, why don't I bring fucking Roy Jones Jr. over and start debating him about boxing? I don't know. It's just it was fucking hilarious. The whole thing was was hilarious, and big fucking victory for that fucking, I don't know. As a stand-up comic, you just tap out. That was embarrassing. Anyways, let's get on with the goddamn podcast for this week. I kind of like that. Do you guys like that format? Just getting the douchebag of the week out of the way right off the fucking bat.
This is America.
Hold it. Listen to me because you'll learn. All right?